right now. Okay. Be on your
Shoot.
good P's and Q's. We're being recorded.
So yeah, again, just to recap quickly, this group has agreed to be the membership committee and communications committee. So I don't expect a large amount of change in our scope of responsibility. We were already doing a large amount of membership outreach with Jordan taking over the Yachts committee. I think that's really going to help us as well be synergized and aligned, which is something that Chris brought up 2 years ago, last year, which was his direct ask to membership that we work together and hold hands more. And so no better way to do it than just by wearing all the hats ourselves. So, um, Chris, your vision is becoming a reality. I had a call today. So, just as a brief recap, Joe Serta had asked me um, a couple months ago to help him on an email drip campaign, which I've previously used email drip campaigns as a function of recruiting to bring on advisors in a brokerage capacity. I saw limited success from the email campaigns themselves. It was more just a tickler when I cold called him and said, "Hey, did you see my email?" And the resounding response is, "No, I deleted that shit, but what do you want?" As the actual lead in. And so I had a call with Corey Matthews where I was trying to ask him, like, what campaigns do you already have established? What do you already have spun up so that I'm not reinventing the wheel here? And he largely shared that over the last 5 years, that had been their primary means of outreach through targeted ads using AccuPoint, which is the tool where we got our list as well, and said that it just had very, very minimal results and often just seemed like the wrong use of resources. They shared with me what National is actually doing right now. They had focused the earlier part of the year on advocacy, on an advocacy marketing campaign to share the news of the great things that NAFA has done and accomplished and our successes. And he said what they really learned was that was a great retention tool, but a terrible recruitment tool because,
Oh, okay.
By the way,
yeah,
Joe
what he
Serta is
shared.
now joining us.
Perfect, Joe. This directly applies, so I'll back up a little bit, but I had a call with Corey Matthews today, and he shared that they'd been trying email campaigns previously with very minimal success. And so they pivoted and they've been using a paid social media and paid internet tracking campaign where they're using a tool called Feather to help track people digitally. So, you go to one website and you see an ad for Glove Daddy. I don't know, I'm making something up. And then you go to another website and the same ad pops back up. And then you go to another website, you see it 2 days later and it's there and it's there. And so they've been utilizing that with greater success. But the first campaign they did was an advocate campaign, which he shared was great for retention, was great for getting people to stay on. But he said it didn't work as a recruitment tool. And the feedback that he received from the field was, I'm already benefiting from your advocacy, so why do I have to pay for it? Which is you got to stop sitting on the sidelines, suit up your starting, which was my messaging to that, but it wasn't well received when they actually put it into practice. And so what they're working on right now is what he is calling his differentiate campaign, with the focus and goal being educating the masses on how NAFA saves you money and makes you money, and grows your practice. And so with the goal being finding younger advisors, marketing to them, using paid marketing and paid support, and using a couple tools, Feather, AccuPoint, and actually having a on the ground team to do the follow up. So Nationals offering to do the heavy lifting and actually do outbound.
Wow.
Um, and so I asked him, okay, that's great, but I got to go back to Joe Serta and can't go, hey, we're not going to do email marketing. National says it doesn't work. What can I actually be doing to have something in my hands to give to Joe? And so we talked and strategized about how in the next 2 weeks he's going to roll out an opportunity for how locally we can work with the tools they already have and help spread the message here. We talked about ways that we can tie our socials to what the content they're producing better. In addition to what Chris has already been promoting about using Life Happens and getting that messaging out. And he said there's some simple tools where we can actually automate a lot of that process. So that'll help alleviate some of the concerns we're having as a board on cost and Sherman and all of those things. And so if we can automate the linking, that'll be great. And then we put out an email today, which I know you saw, but we already got a referral. So we got our first live referral from a State Farm agent who said, "This is who I use for health insurance. You should be a part of NAFA." Gave us a name and phone number. I shared that with National, and then I'm also going to follow up with my own direct outreach to him, to introduce him to NAFA, get him plugged in, find out where he's at, and help him. So the focus here is, as National has leads that they get from the web, they're going to share them with us so that we can do direct outreach as a membership committee. And we're going to work to farm our own book and ask advisors, because that was his point, is he's like, people don't join an association to recruit to an association. And he said that our goal as National is to just say, hey, give us the name, give us the info. We'll use AccuPoint to identify more background information, and then we'll put them in our campaign and we'll actually work on some outbound. So that's what I got from Corey today, for our marketing campaign and growing membership. And then also we talked about it before you joined, but Chris brought this up, I think 2 years ago, where I think we were at the convention in Fort Wayne, and we kind of cornered Kyle and said, "How can we be working with membership? How can we work together arm in arm?" And so now we're the membership committee and the communications committee, and we have Jordan here who's leading up the YAT. So I think we're going to find a lot more synergy in how we market our events, how we actually tie people together, and how we can actually do this. So I'm really, really excited for the direction we're walking on. Um,
I think the new name for the committee is the Membership Communication Committee.
I was considering the Get Shit Done committee, but I think
Well, yeah,
yours is better.
I ours is easier to post. It's less offensive, but no less appropriate or no less accurate.
You said membership communications committee?
Membership communication,
Okay.
or we can say membership and communication.
I'm
That's
I'm
great.
with it and aligned.
But that's why we're communicating to retain and attract members.
Hey, and I just, if I can just interject, I don't care what we do to get members. Let's just do it. We haven't done anything in years. That has been the deadest committee. All they do is report numbers that they get from national. They don't do anything. I've been very frustrated with that committee. Um, and you're right, Chris. I think um, what I see out of this committee is a skill set of one, being able to get along with folks, which some previous committee members don't have that skill set. And strategic thinking, basically. How we know what we want to do. It's just what's the best way of doing it? And just toss out ideas and do it. So whether it's email, which is to me is simple, and I was just looking for 0.5% response rate, which is not a resounding response rate, but that could give us 100 members.
Mhm.
Or if we wanted to go this route, it sounds like it's a more thought out with a lot more resources from home office that we can hitch onto. And if we can be successful and attract new members that way, so be it. Let's just do it. So,
And I'm
I,
I'm okay
I
with
I have
running
a
both
question.
concurrently. Yes, Beth.
Um, Under our tools and assets overview, it says review a full Indiana advisor email list now available. So what does that mean? Do we have a list of every licensed life and health licensed producer in Indiana?
That's what Joe sourced for us. Yes.
So we have that, right?
we have
Yes.
20 and the names of 20,000 licensed agents in the state of Indiana.
And where is that?
I don't know.
I
Is
have
it
it.
going to be sent to us or what?
I can share it with you.
I have a
Just
copy of the list too, Beth.
email it to me as an attachment, okay?
Okay.
Please.
You got it.
Because, and on that list, does it give where they're located?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It includes
Because
business address, zip codes, phone numbers if available, email addresses.
Does it
wonderful.
have their age?
Um, I did not ask for that. So
Does it have that the amount of time they've been licensed or the date of licensing? That might give us a hint.
I don't know. You need
Okay.
to take a look and see.
Yeah.
Okay. Because here's an idea I have. Um, I would be willing to make the commitment to, in my geographic area, okay, like, let's say 2 days a month, contact people who aren't members in my geographic area and commit to having 2 lunch appointments with those individuals per month, like 2 a month, right? Where I tell my NAIFA story and personalize it. And I also think something that might help us is if we could offer, and this is a big thing, but if we could offer some sort of mentoring program to new members if they want that.
We have through NAIFA National, and this is something that I've personally used. It's called Mentor Loop, and essentially a new member can sign up. They put in a form of what they want to achieve, what lines they write, or what they want to grow, or what they want to
Uh-huh.
learn more about, and it matches them with someone who's willing to be a mentor. I was matched with oh my gosh, I'm a terrible person. It's Ann at AFP Group. I don't know why I'm blanking on her last name. We've worked together for 2 years since I started working with her. But she's one of the reasons I made MDRT. She gave me a Friday, every other Friday for 2 years. We sat down and we talked long-term care, financial planning. We talked
Mhm.
about my big rocks and what we wanted to work through. And she really worked with me to grow. And so even beyond just, us adopting our own babies, which I know we're all more than willing to do, National already has an entire platform to connect people to help them grow their practice
Okay.
based off
So,
volunteers.
so she was in your geographic area?
No, she's from Houston. We actually met remotely.
Oh,
We met
okay.
for the first time when I made MDRT and got to go to the meeting.
Okay. So I just need to contact National and let them know I'm willing to be a mentor.
Yeah, I'll reach out and get that spun up.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I guess I'd prefer to have someone in Indiana if there's anybody that wants a mentor in Indiana, because I'd like to maybe meet them in person sometime.
Perfect.
I think we can probably set up that could be the new role of the membership, the old membership committee
Mhm.
is really a retention committee to set up mentoring, uh, hook people up together to work together, especially with new younger folks that are looking for some guidance like that,
Yeah, I mean,
and
that
do it
might be
regionally
a carrot we
within the
could
state.
dangle.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean that would give a purpose to the old membership committee
Hmm.
and just rename it retention. And actually, the YAT committee could probably fall into that too.
Yeah. Well, you can all,
Yeah.
and I'm willing to commit because to what I've already said we should do, which if we get the list, I commit to do at least once a month, go to a small multi-line or a small RIA and give a NAIFA presentation, get in to do a NAIFA presentation, explain to them what we can do to help their business. Because we have a lot of tools. Yeah, we already talked about how anything not invented in Milwaukee is evil, so we can't Northwestern Mutual can't use Life Happens or anything like that. But the small RIAs and the small multi lines, they would love those tools. Like I said, I've talked to a number of small multi lines, and they all want to be in the life insurance business, but none of them know how to do it. And the fact is, they've already got the trust of their client. That's all they need. They just need to know how to write the business.
Yeah. And I would be willing to do in-person membership bleeps or presentations also.
Well, hold on, Chris. You mentioned, excuse me, Beth, but you mentioned I think there may be a great opportunity in what you just said
Mm-hmm.
that sending someone there to talk to them about how to sell life insurance, appoint a member to start working with that
Mhm.
PNC or
Mhm.
Worksite or whatever agency it is that wants to get into the life insurance business. And it'll be a nice opportunity for the NAIFA member to, split business with him.
Mhm.
He'll do it. And he'll do it with a PNC individual by his side. So he's showing him and get the organization off the ground in terms of
Mhm.
sales.
See, we've already got the tools. I keep saying, does anybody argue that our branding video is not a great video? It's a little bit long, but it really tells the NAIFA story.
It does. Yeah, I agree.
And that's something you can just show in a group. I've done it any number of places.
Hmm.
That's how I got the principal from One Indiana to join NAIFA. That and I wrote a bunch of business with you. But that's beside the issue.
Well, no, that proves your point.
Yeah.
I really think we ought to think about that. I mean,
Mhm.
that could be a real value added to our members. One, will set you up with an agency to work with to show
Mhm.
to one, help you, increase your sales, but two, help them show them how to
Mhm.
sell life insurance. And maybe it could be a partnership that, keeps going and going. So,
And that's does PIA still have a conference? Because I mean, that would have been a great spot for a NAIFA booth.
um, I um, is it PIA or Big I?
No, it's PIA, Professional Insurance, Professional Insurance Agents. That's the place I spoke. I gave the only time I've ever been asked to give an hour and 15 minute presentation. It was always either an hour or 2 hours. It's an hour and 15 or an hour and a half. But I presented that at PIA, and that's where I met all those. Just went around talking to people and say, how much life insurance do you do? Why not? I don't know how. Would you like to do it? Yeah, I would.
I don't know about you guys, but I see a great opportunity here.
Yeah.
We just need people to commit to do it and say, yeah, it's just because so far what we normally get from our board members is, yeah, other than present company excluded is, yeah, we should do that. And you
Oh,
go back a month later and nobody ever did it.
um, I think we need to explore what um, the idea you came up with, the
Mhm.
nugget you came up with, because I think that we can probably set something like that up.
Yeah.
So, so what are we going
Because
to do?
I like the drip campaign, but nothing, but it's kind of like life insurance. As a columnist once wrote early in my career, it was actually Indianapolis Star. He said people buy life insurance because people ask them to.
Yeah, yeah. So what are we going to do for to get new members, Josh? What's your first step?
Um, well, one, the current ask that went out today, and then doing the follow-up with those members, getting them tied in with nationals campaigns. Awaiting further instruction from Corey on over the next 2 weeks of how we can loop in and use his tools. I think Beth's offer is great, and I think we need to recruit more members of that model of go through the list, find people in your area, and offer to take them to lunch, or ask for some time, or just do some outreach. And then I think the other point is to coordinate with Jordan and find out the events that we can put together for, especially for the Yats, that we can get people to come to and want to go to, beyond just CE opportunities, but getting opportunities for people to collaborate and meet people. I think it's, a lonely industry, especially starting out, and bringing people in. And then I'm also open to trying an email campaign and doing it concurrently. I had spun something up, and of course, now that I'm sitting here, I can't find it. Um, but I've been working in the background to try to locate that. I also sent out the list to everyone on this call. And also, Beth, I reached out to Zach Hewells and CC Corey Matthews on how to get you signed up as a mentor and what that process looks like so we can understand it. because I think that's a
Okay.
good carrot to dangle as well. Um, those are my initial thoughts and where we start, but I'm very open to all ideas.
Well, one of the things, as Joe was talking about, key is also retention. National has a really good tool that we're using. I've downloaded. I got that off from going to the leaders webinar they put on each month, and that is we can download. It's a simple spreadsheet. We can go down and they just us give us a list of members who have lapsed in the last year,
Yeah.
and the phone number and why they lapsed, and we just need somebody to call them. And it's a
So that's a
simple,
responsibility of membership committee, as I
yeah.
just found out today. Sandy sent me the list of the two members that are lapsing, so they're on my agenda this week to call
There,
out
there
to.
should be more than that. The last time I looked at that list, there was like it was a spreadsheet with like 10 names on it.
Well, I got the ones for this month that
Okay,
lapsed, so
okay,
I'm
good.
assuming that.
Oh.
Yeah, there's one that the national has that you can just download it from the website that has everybody in the last year, and it even has a place to write in whose responsibility it is to call them.
You know, I did a study on that and I found up to 30% um, of the lapsed folks was because their credit card had ended. Um, and they didn't know it. You know, they had it on auto pay, and
Mm.
because there were no payments coming in, their membership lapsed, and they didn't know it until we called them and let them know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's how we were able to slow down the decline of membership. Um, back when I was membership chair.
Yeah, because I made
I
several of
remember
those
hearing
calls.
about
Yeah,
that.
I made several. Kevin Bontrager was lapsed, and I told him you're on the lapsed list. He said, "Let me check. Must be my credit card," and he's back on.
Yep. Yeah, it's a very simple phone call. And they thank you. You know, I didn't realize
Mm-hmm.
that. I didn't realize I had lapsed. I thought I was still a member.
I know the membership goes through like national, but like when we call people, can we dangle like any carrot saying, "Hey, if you re-up right now, we can give you like a $50 credit or something like that to those people that were calling out to give them just a little nudge to put it in action."
I don't think I'm not sure if we have the funds for that, but I can tell you one thing I have pushed for is some of these CEs that you're required to take, like particularly for me, it's the 5 hour long-term care CE. I've always said if somebody attends the 5 hour long-term care CE, which if you're not a member, it's $45. If they join the day they attend the CE, they get the CE for free. They can save
I,
$45 right there.
I think, I don't know. I wonder if it's not a cost, but more a value
Yeah,
challenge when people choose to lapse.
yeah.
Or
Oh, yeah. If they
retiring.
choose to lapse, that's the reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also ran in because that is listed on there as the reason for their lapsing was that they called in requesting their membership end.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that they saw no value in NAFA. Um, and you know, it wasn't a large percentage, but it was enough to notice that you know, we needed to do either more for them or communicate what was available better to our
You,
members.
you, I've done a couple of road trips through Indiana and Ohio recently, and going through a lot of small communities, and you'll see one or two insurance
Mhm.
agencies in that town.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, man, that must be lonely
Mm-hmm.
because I'm thinking that might be really some good places to hit. Those
I
people who are kind of isolated.
I think you're right, Beth. Because there'd be two things. One, they're isolated. Second, we have great tools for them.
Yeah.
NAPA's marketing tools are they could be a small agency and look like they're a New York Life if they use NAPA's tools.
Speaking of New York Life, I've got a question. I've been out of this loop for so long. I'm sorry if I'm should know this. But okay, what's the status of companies like Northwestern, Mass Mutual, New York Life? Are they still promoting membership or even requiring it of their agents?
Northwestern Mutual does not actively discourage, at least in Indiana. It depends on the managing partner. Some managing partners are really big on NAIFA, ours is not. Our managing partner does not discourage, well, actively discourage NAIFA membership, but he's not willing to promote it either. And he
Jeez, oh
really
Pete.
promotes membership in Fonseca. And I think you got the same thing going on with Mass Mutual, don't you, Joe?
Yes, that's the same situation. They see the opportunity with Fonseca more so than with NAIFA in terms of recruiting
Mm.
um, good producers, and that's the only reason why that that's the lens that they look at.
I
These
look at it.
organizations.
I'm a little bit more cynical because what I found is at least Northwestern we have non-exclusive contracts with the manager. The current Northwestern Mutual trend is to make us act like captive agents. They really don't like us selling outside Northwestern Mutual. And since Fonseca grew out of the General Agency Management Association, uh, I think it's a factor that they like to control the agents. It's more control. They don't want independent thinkers out there. They want you to,
Hmm.
as they say, dance the one that brung you. But that's my opinion. I may be a little bit more cynical than most, but that's my overall opinion because Fonseca came out of Gamma, and the operant term here is management, whereas NAFA represents the advisors.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hmm.
And of course,
Okay.
Fonseca is really proud of claiming all of NAFA's victories as theirs.
Are they
Well, you know,
doing as much advocacy work as we are?
No, but not at the. I mean, we descend on Washington. We just went to the congressional conference. We visited with every congressional office in
Mm-hmm.
the Capitol. I don't even know what Fonseca does, but like Fonseca claimed they ended the DOL fiduciary rule round two. They claimed that as a victory. It was Nathan Dallas that filed the lawsuit. It was not Fonseca. It was they piled in, threw some money at it, but Fonseca, but NAFA led the charge.
Yeah. Hmm. Okay. Okay. So we kind of we have some plans, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yes, ma'am.
I
Gonna get that
back to your original
list.
comment, Beth. I think the big career shops are gone. We got to focus on the small multi lines that we can really help.
Okay. Okay.
I
All
sent that
right.
list to your email, Beth. You have it.
I'm sorry. What, Josh?
You have the email list in your inbox.
Thank you very much.
Okay, how many appointments have you made now, Beth? It's been in your inbox for a couple of seconds.
Now you sound like
Oh,
my
I have
boss.
I don't switch around well. I don't do all of that.
I'm just giving you a hard time, Beth.
I got a question, Joe. It's my understanding that after August or September, excuse me, Mary and uh Sandy will no longer be employed. Who's going to take over? How can we do that thing? I just learned recently that for this Mass Mutual group benefit we offer to our members, it has to be written by a licensed agent, of course, but it has to be an agent who's an employee. Is that right?
Why couldn't we
that
do? Sorry.
they do not have to be an employee of NAIFA. They can just be sub-appointed as an agent, so we can continue to pay commissions. But it would be nice if
Okay.
whoever is appointed as
Mm.
um, the executive director or
Mm.
manager or whatever that position is could step into that role. It would, from a conflict of interest, I think a member that is on the board that gets in a position where he controls flow of money to an organization. I think most broker dealers and career agencies would really frown on that. I know Mass, well, they would prohibit somebody like me from being placed in a role like that. So,
Okay. Yeah, I
so
guess I thought it had to be an employee since all the commissions were going to flow to us. I
it,
misunderstood that.
that would be the ideal thing. And really from a compliance standpoint, it should be,
Yeah,
we should
I
have,
would think so.
we should have it set up. That's what made Mary such a perfect fit for that role.
Yeah,
Already an employee and a licensed agent. And from a visibility standpoint, it just, transparent and it looked, like the right thing to do. So
yes,
I
absolutely. I get it.
yeah, I don't know what we're going to do in the future on that. We're not far
Yeah,
enough along, in my opinion, um, to make guesses, at least for me. So
sure. Okay.
maybe somebody else here has more information than I do, but
Well,
I think we're all operating the same.
yeah, I've been gathering information concerning getting executive director through NAFA National, and that's something that's not for something here, but I've gotten a lot of really good feedback from New York, California, and Ohio. As a matter of fact, Ohio's executive director, this comes through NAFA National, lives in Indianapolis.
wow.
So,
Wow.
and goes to events in Ohio because he's the executive director.
Hmm.
So, but that's something I got to follow up because I have a phone call. I got to make a phone call tomorrow. We've been playing phone tag. I got to make a phone call to the treasurer in Ohio to see if there are any hidden costs we need to find out about. So,
Okay. So
So, where are we now?
I think we have to identify a recruit
yeah.
and provide it. And we send it to you, Josh. The
Well, Josh
information.
can't do all. He needs to divvy that up. I'd be happy to download the lapse list from Nathan National and call them. Call anybody on that list. Just assign myself that duty.
Thank you.
And
Yeah, I'm happy
I
to
did,
make phone
Jordan,
calls and
I did
outreaches.
love that. I love the email you sent out. That was great.
No, what I was talking about, it was because of that email, when we identify
Mhm.
the individual,
Oh,
do we email it to home office or do we send it to you and since you have the contact with them, you forward them in?
I've been forwarding them in. So yeah, if
Okay,
you send it to me, I can throw them in.
okay. So I'll look through that list too and pick out some individuals that I think would be good members.
Thank you.
Now I'll throw something out to you. When this new sales tip comes out, if we're going to go after multi-line shops, it is a multi-line sales tip. So if you call a multi-line agency, send them that sales tip. Send them a link to that sales tip and tell them this is what we offer you. Not only expertise, we offer expertise in your area, and we're going to help you in your area. We
Mhm.
just want to help you grow. And that's there's a specific reason I sought a multi-line sales tip so that we can service our multi-line agents.
By the way, Chris, the Harley Gordon
Yeah.
sales that was sent out,
Mm-hmm.
our agency copied it
Did they?
and
Harley
they
will
and they sent it out.
Harley will appreciate that because that was advertising for him. I told him I'd get a maximum distribution on that. I thought it was a big coup. I could not believe I got Harley Gordon to give our sales tips.
Well, it's been plagiarized.
Well, that's okay. It's not plagiarism. Is that thing I put at the end? It says all rights reserved. I just want everybody to know the communication committee did it. We did. It's
Yeah.
not copyrighted. So I am pleased that Mass Mutual sent it out. I'll tell Harley. He'll be excited.
Actually, it's on LinkedIn.
Oh, is it really? Well, that's what we've been saying all along. Go to our LinkedIn. I shared it with a bunch of people on LinkedIn. But you posted it to your LinkedIn. I'm fine. Harley would be happy It's advertising. How can we?
But
I'll let it,
but there's no NAIF.
no, but it still has that.
Ending.
Doesn't it have the stuff that from Harley Gordon on that? Because he gets to talk about his Social Security class,
Yeah.
so he'll be pleased.
Okay. Well, good enough. Anything else?
Uh, I just wanted to run by everybody for the first time ever. NAFA National admitted that they're copying NAFA Indiana when it comes to
I
communication.
saw that.
That I did our simple video recap of the congressional conference, and I had asked our one of the people up there, I guess our government relations guy up there, if we could get the photo of the group picture. And a few days later, and then I went to the website and found out I could download it from their website. So I wanted to have that big picture at the front. I keep telling everybody, you got to show up for the group picture because that shows, we send it out to Congress and tell them how many people showed up. So I used that, and he emailed me a few days later, said, I'm going to try to get that for you. So I already got it. Look, let me show you what I did with it. Don't you wish NAFA National could do something cool like this? The next day, NAFA National had something. If you take a look at compare the two, they're extremely similar in the sequencing of the photos. So,
Good.
and then they
Sounds
responded.
good.
Diane Boyle responded. She said, "Yeah." I teased him. I said, "It's great to see you copying NAFA Indiana." She says, "Yeah, we really did. Keep the ideas coming."
Well, good.
So and they've done it before, but they've never before admitted they were copying us. So I'm pretty pleased with that.
Okay.
And by the way, that
Excellent.
was part of that was the idea behind that, is to show everybody what we're doing. I said we go to Washington. I picked this up for years when I was just kind of in NAFA, and then Joe talked me into being the president elect for NAFA Indianapolis. So I went to the national conference, and that's where the light went on. I saw what NAFA was doing because nobody. I said, "What's happening? Is NAFA's doing all this great stuff. They never tell anybody. If we don't tell our members what we're doing, how the heck will they know?"
Yeah. Good point.
So that's the way I do it. It's not because I love making video, because I don't. I'm not all that great at it, but you got to tell them something.
By the way, NAFA Florida,
Mm-hmm.
they're advertising their annual summit
Oh,
on-
really?
The cruise.
Facebook. It's a cruise into the Caribbean on a
Oh,
cruise
man.
ship.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's who's running that? It's she's reverse mortgage now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Canzanella?
We talked about that at when we were in Arizona, and she was really excited about it. It's pretty cool to see it come alive.
That is
What
cool.
what an
thought that was-
opportunity.
What an opportunity. It's nice to be, right up against the ocean down in that area where you can just hop on a ship and, spend 3 days in the Caribbean.
We took a
What
we
a great opportunity for a carrier to sponsor too. You
Really?
get a
Yes.
captive audience of
Yes.
producers. They can't run. They
Yeah.
cannot leave.
That's true. We took a cruise on Lake Schaefer.
But like for an hour.
Well, it was still a
We're
cruise.
talking 3 frickin' days in the Caribbean.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm sure they have meetings and
Oh yeah, I'm
events.
sure.
And you're right. What a great opportunity for a sponsor,
Really.
to really make some hay in that environment. So, um,
All right. Well, if you guys are okay, let's cut it a little bit early. I'm gonna go pee before my next back-to-back and
okay.
take
Okay,
you some
thanks,
time.
Josh. I
Josh,
really
Thank you, guys.
thank you.
Josh.
we are really
Okay.
stepping up. And Beth, we're going to talk to you because we need to get you scheduled to give a Medicare supplement sales tip, probably record it in August or so, and then put it on air in September or in October.
Okay.
So
Thanks
think
for
about
doing
what
that,
you can
Beth.
do. Okay, hang in there.
Mhm.
And as far
Yeah,
as
okay.
as far as becoming the membership committee, this is where you say, be careful what you wish more for, you might get it. So,
Yeah.
Take-
Okay.
Take care, everybody.
care,
We'll see you.
guys.
thanks all for attending. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.